Good afternoon, everybody. I am Kevin Hunt with the Financing Solutions Department. Welcome to the Meet the Lender WebEx. Today we're going to hear from Katie Blaufuss and Charlie Woodhull, both with Mosaic. They're going to run through their products. First, just a couple of housekeeping items. First, the presentation is being recorded and will be posted on the contractor page for both New York Sun and Clear Result, and it'll be made available later. Everybody is muted, so if you have any questions, please submit them through the Q&A function, and we'll respond at the end of the presentation. Any technical issues, please contact Tricia King at tricia.king@nycerta.ny.gov. And with that, I'll turn it over to Katie.
Great. Thanks so much, Kevin, for the introduction. Hi, everybody. I am Katie Blaufuss, and I am with Mosaic, and I have Charlie with me as well. I'm very excited to be with you guys today and offering some other financing options through Mosaic, depending on who you're using today, or maybe not using anyone at all. So we'll have some Q&A at the end, as Kevin mentioned, and we'll just kind of jump right in. A little bit about myself. I am the National Strategic Accounts Director, specifically for HVAC, and we have a heavy focus on HVAC within Mosaic, and I am here as a point of contact for you all, as well as Charlie is a contact as an account manager. When it comes to financing through Mosaic, we offer financing for anything that really touches the home. We focus on clean energy, and solar panels is where we initially started our program. And so when it comes to Mosaic, our mission as a company is to offer 100% clean energy for all. That is a big focus for us, and that's how we got into the solar industry, and now getting into more energy efficiency, specifically in the HVAC industry, and any windows, siding, doors, all the things that you can think of to make your home more energy efficient. When it comes to offering financing, a lot of times offering financing can be for some companies that maybe don't offer it today or only offer it as a last resort. It sometimes can be a scary topic or something that's hard to bring up with your customer. But some of the hardest things that we don't really think about is it's not necessarily, selling the home improvement part. That's the hard part. And then helping them figure out how to pay for it, that's the other piece. And so when a lot of customers get quiet at the end of a sale, or you start to talk about pricing, one thing that I try to remind a lot of my contractors currently is it's not a matter of if they can pay for it or any of that. It's things that are going through their minds, such as, maybe I've got a kid going off to college, or should I put this on my credit card and get points, or should we pull this out of savings? So whenever they pause and they are thinking, it's not, it's nothing to be afraid of or to shy away from offering that financing option. I highly recommend offering financing up front. When it comes to offering it, offer it like a promotion, as an opportunity of a great way for them to spread out their payments, lower their energy bill, as well as with a higher efficiency system that you're providing, but then taking over and paying for that over a monthly payment. So we have lots of different options. My favorite thing on this slide is just talking about how you're not going to kill a deal by offering financing, but you will lose deals by not offering it. Your competition will be offering it, and so it's a big thing to make sure you're offering it. Within Mosaic, we offer financing on all the different pieces that come into home efficiency. So if you also are doing solar or electrical panels, battery backups, and then the HVAC piece along with geothermal, lots of different things that can be added on. Our lowest loan that we can do is $2,500. So even in those smaller tickets, we can do a loan for those. And so there's some really good options of being able to build your sale of maybe they initially needed a new furnace, but then you are helping them with some other things and can offer maybe a tankless water heater and some other options as well. There's a lot of benefits for you guys as the contractor, as well as for the customers that you are servicing. For you guys as contractors, there's no hidden fees when it comes to pricing with Mosaic. The pricing that we give you when you first get set up with Mosaic is the pricing that you're going to pay based on the types of loans that you decide to offer. We have well over 100 different types of loans and options, and so we're very customizable that you will meet with someone like Charlie or myself as we get you first onboarded with Mosaic to help make sure we create the best plans for you that you want to offer to your customers, because everyone wants to choose and choose what they can and can't offer, and we can help you with that. There's no additional swipe fees. You're not running a credit card or anything like that. It is all through our portal that Charlie's going to show you here in a little bit of how to run the applications. Can be done on a mobile device, so any phone, laptop, or desktop. It works very well. It's not an app specifically, but we can help you put it on a phone or put it on a tablet and make it where you just click a button and it'll open right up. The nice thing about that, with it being a link rather than an app, your team in the field is never going to have to worry about updating their app. So it's always done kind of in the backside since it's a link. For your customers, we've got lots of different ranges of loans. We have from 5 years up to 15 years generally in the HVAC space. We've got really good longer term loans with no interest up front as well and no payments. We also have no prepayment penalties, so your customer can pay it off at absolutely any time. And then it shows there again, we can do a loan as low as $2,500 and up to $55,000. If you have a project that's bigger than $55,000, you can have 2 loans per person on the home, and they just have to be on the title. As I mentioned, we've got lots of different ones. Our promotional products, those are going to be the ones that have no interest if paid in full, and we do not require any payments during that promotional period. So if you offer a 12-month, no interest, no payment, the customer can choose whether or not to make any sort of payment each month up to that 12 months. But as long as they pay it off in that last month in full, there will be no interest accrued during that time. If they don't pay it off in time, then the interest will be tacked on, and then it then rotates into a 7-year loan past that. So it's some really good options. And in that 7 years, the APR that we can do for a lot of the customers is only 12.99, where generally, you know, a lot of our other competitors are offering these promotional periods that then jump into the mid-20s and up to even the 30% APR range. So it's a really good opportunity for your customer to not be concerned if they don't pay it off in time. They're not getting whacked with a ton of interest with those higher ranges. We also have equal payment, no interest loans. Those are where it says 0 loan interest. So it's a fixed 36-month, divide it by the total, and they will pay that like an installment, and it'll be an exact amount that they pay each month. So those are going to be on those promotional products. Those are going to be more of your customer that typically would be a cash buyer. They have the money, but they also like to take advantage of financing when they can save the interest and have other options. When it comes to your budget buyers and the buyers that maybe didn't have the money up front, those longer term loans are going to be something that they are going to be more attracted to, which is why we help you create and customize having options for both. You can set different annual percentage rates. There's different loans from, you know, as low as, you know, 299 or 199 all the way up to that 12% range that we can get to for them. So lots of really good options when it comes to the financing products that we offer. As we get into kind of the demo, and that's the piece that I'm going to have Charlie jump over and give you guys a demo on. This is what it looks like on the phone. So it's very formatable for whether you're using a phone or a computer or a tablet. With the phone, it'll have you, go right through it. You can actually add it to your screen, as I was mentioning, to make it look like an app. That's where it'll have an icon directly on your device. You'll be able to click it and it'll always go straight to the next piece. One of the things that I am very excited to share is the pre-qualification. We do soft credit checks when we do our pre-qualification. So your customers are not getting any hard inquiries until they decide to move forward with the loan and sign their loan documents. So you can be very confident in that when they apply, they're not pulling the hard credit inquiry, but we are pulling the correct information in that we're still seeing everything we need to see. So it is a very good pre-qualification in that it's not going to be drawn back or counter offered or anything like that. All right, we will go ahead and jump over to the demo. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let Charlie take over. This again is where you can kind of see like the pipeline and what it looks like on a tablet. But Charlie's going to show it on his computer, and it will all format based on what type of device that you will use.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Katie. I'm going to assume that everybody can see my screen here. And good afternoon to everyone. My name is Charlie Woodhall. I am the account manager for the Northeast region on the home improvement side. So, primarily my responsibilities are working with you guys once you get signed up, help you get onboarded, help you get trained on our platform, as well as providing day-to-day support. So, really just want to help you all be as successful as possible. So, as Katie mentioned, this is our online credit portal. This is the web-based version. So, as she said, we can make it an app on your phone or tablet as well. And, it's just kind of one of the themes that hopefully we'll keep in mind here as we go through this demo is, we are a California-based company, so technology is very important to us. And hopefully that you guys will see that this, offers you a lot of flexibility and a quick, smooth, easy user experience for both the contractor and the customer. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is move this off my screen. We're going to go ahead and throw this in demo mode. So this little toggle button down here is going to exist for you guys at all time. And anybody can come in here, throw it in demo mode. You're going to see this red bar pop up and know that you guys can come in here, play around with it, get a feel for it in a not in a live setting. And, it also allows new reps the ability to get comfortable with the platform or anything like that, so that once you are out there in front of your customers, you guys can be confident in what you're selling and within the process of Mosaic. So once you guys have that customer that you want to get qualified, the first and best option is going to select pre-qualify now. And we have that highlighted down here in blue to hopefully make it easier to remember. So once we click on that, we're only going to ask for 2 pieces of information, and that will be the customer's email address, and a mobile phone number. So we are a paperless company, and we will require at least one of these pieces of information. We can do an application, without a cell phone number, but we will require the customer to at least have an email address. So we're going to enter those 2 bits of information, and then we'll hit agree and continue. At this time, I usually like to pick somebody out in the crowd and, have them run their cell phone number so that they can get a feel for it. But in this case, just to keep things easy, I put mine in there. But as you can see here, after we entered those 2 pieces of information, these fields below me now became live. And the customer, if your sales reps are in the home with the customer, they would either be able to hand over their tablet to them and they could start filling it out directly right here, or that link that was sent to the customer, once they click on it, it's actually going to pull up this exact same field right here, and they would be able to input the information on their phone themselves. Both options work well. Again, that's just kind of up to the flexibility of the contractor and how you guys want to run your business. But sometimes we find that customers think it's more secure to keep their information on their own device, even though no information is being stored in here. We just like to offer that flexibility and the comfort level for each individual customer. So as you'll see here, we're just looking for very basic information. It's a short, quick application. We're going to ask for the customer's first and last name, address, social security, birthday, as well as income. So one thing to keep in mind right now is that we are a single applicant loan. So there are no co-borrowers or co-applicants at this time. And we just require that the applicant is on deed or title of the house. So in other situations, maybe you have a husband and wife that are living together, both on the deed of the house. Either one of them could apply or both, just depends on how they want to do it. But if both applied, they would have to be separate applications. Another thing to point out here, we do ask for annual income, but we were not going to ask for proof of income. So we want to make this, as quick and easy and straightforward as possible. So we're just going to go stated income. We're not going to be required to require you to upload any work orders or any other documentation. So again, we're just trying to make this as short, simple, and straightforward as we can for you guys. So once this information's entered, the only other thing that you're going to see here is this little drop down. It's going to allow you to select a secondary home or rental properties if that's where the work is being done. We do accept any of those types of properties. They do not have to be owner occupied, but the applicant, again, must be on deed or title to the house in order to get approved. And occasionally, maybe there's a situation where if is an address mismatch, or the ownership is not, maybe they recently bought the house and they're not reporting on the title yet. What we'll actually see happen is it'll be a conditional approval. So it'll notify the customer that they've been approved, but it's going to say, hey, we just need to verify this real quick. Please respond with a copy of the title. And once that is sent in, they are good to go. All right, so we're going to scroll down to the bottom here. We'll hit agree to the terms. And again, as Katie mentioned, but there's always the nice reminder here, this pre-qualification will not affect your credit score. Totally soft credit check at this point will not report or have any impact to their credit. I know a lot of people are very sensitive to that these days, so that can be a huge selling point for you guys. Hey, you can see how much you qualify for, and it's not going to impact your credit, whether and if you don't want to go forward with it, there won't be any consequences. All right, so at that point, we're just going to hit submit. It's going to ask to verify the information that you did real quick, and then we will hit continue. And this is what it's going to look like in a real world live scenario. The wheel's going to spin, and within a couple seconds, you're going to get your decision on how much the customer has been qualified for. So one of the nice things about our pre-qualification process is that it's always going to come back as a maximum approval. So currently we're doing loans from $2,500 up to $55,000. And so we don't require the project cost when the customer's submitting that pre-qualification. We're going to tell you based on their credit how much they're qualified for. So someone with excellent credit, it's always going to come back approved for the whole $55,000. Someone with a middle of the road credit, it might come back at only $25,000, $15,000, something like that. But it just lets you guys know that this is the maximum amount that they are approved for. And hopefully, it's going to be enough for your project, but also give you some room to maybe upsell in there. And then the other thing, as Katie mentioned too, we do allow for multiple loans. So maybe the customer only got qualified for $10,000, but they needed $20,000 for the project. You would actually be able to submit another pre-qualification. They would get approved for that exact same amount again, and you could go forward with the two loans for the customer and get them the financing they need that way. Or, again, maybe if there's a spouse in the house as well, they could apply and see what they're qualified for. And also just a quick reminder here, these pre-qualifications are as good as any approval. So pre-quals are good for 60 days, and nothing is going to change, in those 60 days. We're not going to come back later and say, oh, actually, they're only qualified for this much. So you guys have 60 days to get them to sign from the time that they're approved. And we actually do allow for one extension. So for whatever reason, if they're coming up on that 60-day limit and they have not signed their loan documents, you would be able to just ask us for an extension and we would do that for you. All right, so at this point, your customer's been approved and you want to get them to sign the loan documents. So what we're going to do is hit the edit offer button right here and start building our project to send out to the customer. So all we have to do in here is select the project type. There's some basic drop down, some basic lists, you can choose from the drop down list here. If we select HVAC, for example, you're going to see here it says 100% at project confirmation. So with typical HVAC projects, there's usually a quicker turnaround time as we found. So we fund the contractor 100% on completion of the project. But I know obviously things are changing these days, and supply chain issues and products are getting more expensive. And we do also have some other flexibility here in terms of the dispersion schedule of cash that you guys would receive from us. So for example, here, if we picked an exterior remodel, we're going to see that defaults to a 30/70 payment split. And what that means is that as soon as the customer signs their loan documents, we're going to send you guys the first 30% of those funds, help you increase your cash flow, and just give you the money down so that you can order materials and with confidence. So then once you guys receive that, you're good to go ahead with the project. And once it's confirmed complete at the end, we would pay you the remaining 70%. And finally, the other option that we would be able to do for you guys is what we call a custom option. And this custom option actually allows us to add multiple stages all the way up to 10, or a straight 50/50 split. So if you wanted, you could build it to have an initial order for materials, at which time you would request a $10,000 draw from your customer. Go ahead with the project, and then once it's done, you could request the completion remaining amount that way. So again, it's a really nice option for you guys, just in terms of how you're doing your business already, and the dispersion schedule of funds that you're collecting currently from your customer. It's going to allow you to run your business in the fashion that you have been, or collect some money, get other ways to get money up front. So I'm just going to go ahead and select exterior remodel here for the purposes of this demo. And so we're going to pick the project type, put in the dollar amount, and then select the financing terms that the customer wants to take. So these are just a list of what I have here selected in my demo mode, but it's going to be up to you guys, the contractor, to offer as few or as many products as you want. We have terms as long as 12 years so that they can get that nice low monthly payment. There is no prepayment penalty on any of our products. So if customers want, they can go ahead and make a larger lump sum payment at any time, and they'll save on interest and not be faced with any extra charges. So yeah, these are the plans. We have some same as cash options as well, which are deferred interest and are very popular. For example, we can give the customer a year of no interest and no payments, after which time it just can turn into a standard either 7 or 10-year loan, depending on the price of the project, so that then they can have that nice low monthly payment and pay it off over time. The other great part of these deferred interest programs here is the flexibility that it's going to offer the customer. So maybe it's a smaller job and they think, maybe around month 10 or 11, they're going to have the funds saved up to be able to pay it off. They can go ahead and do so, and then all of that interest that had been accruing will be waived. So there's a lot of really nice, flexibility here in the payment plans to, find what your customer is looking for. We have interest rates as low as 2.99%, up to about 10 or 11%. And it's up to you guys, the contractor, to pick which products, you want to offer. So you can really customize it to what makes the most sense in your specific region or for your specific industry, and hopefully be able to provide the customer with some flexibility in the terms that they want to pay for their project. So we go ahead and select these 3 items. We got the price, the remodel type, and the program selected. And then we're just going to go down here and save it. So again, at this point, we're going to have, you'll have some options. If we went over here to these three dots, you would be able to send the loan documents off to the customer at this point, at which they could sign on their own device. Or if you're using, your tablet in the home, you can click on continue to loan terms and they would be able to do it right there on your device. So as you'll see, it pops up with the truth in lending information. It'll give them the ability to set up auto pay and just review the terms of their agreement before signing. And as we mentioned earlier, and a reminder here at this point, continuing to sign the loan agreements after the loan documents are signed, that's when we disperse the funds to the contractor, and that's when that hard credit inquiry will show up on the customer's credit report. Say they had gotten approved but decided not to go forward with the loan, again, no impact to their credit. So we'll just hit continue here. And so this is where the customer would actually be signing the documents. It's a very simple DocuSign process. They're just going to click through in a couple places and agree. But for the purposes of the demo here, we don't actually go through it. It'll also then bring up this screen, consent to receiving electronic communication. As I mentioned earlier, we are trying to be as paper-free as possible. And so we want the customers to agree to electronic communications. Again, we don't show that here, but that's what they would be agreeing to at this point. And they're done, and they have completed their financing at that point. So here, as it goes through, again, it's going to give them the option to set up auto pay if they would like. But so now when you were in your pipeline, you would see this project, you would go in and click on it. With the signed documents, you went ahead and did the work, and now you're ready to receive that remaining 70% of your funds. So this is a really cool, easy process. You're just going to come in here and click confirm completion. Again, we're going to offer you some flexibility. You're either able to upload a paper completion certificate if that's something that you guys have as a standard operating procedure and want to upload that here. You can go ahead and do it, and we will take a quick look at it, and usually within just, a couple minutes, it's usually approved and those funds would be sent to you. But I always recommend that we go with the request confirmation route. So you hit request confirmation, it's going to bring up the customer's info again, and it's going to give you the option to email and text a confirmation request to the customer. So I just sent that text to myself. We're going to give it a second here and it's going to come through. But I just want to show this part for you guys here because it is always nice to see how quickly it goes. So I just received a text that said, if your project is complete, please respond yes. So that's all the customer has to do, reply yes to that text. And as you see here, it updated in real time. That's what it'll look like in a real world environment as well. And that has triggered the release of that remaining 70% to you guys. And it's going to be ACH'd and in your account within typically 24 to 48 hours. And you guys are totally done with the financing process. So hopefully that was pretty quick and easy and straightforward. Obviously, that's one of the nice things about the demo mode toggle that I mentioned here is, you guys if you, can jump in here, go through it once or twice, get a feel for it yourself, and be comfortable with it before you're out there in a live environment. One other thing I'm just going to point out real quick here that is a very helpful tool would be our Give an Estimate tab. If you click on that, it's going to allow you to put in a project price and then toggle between loan options to give your customer the payment plan that they're looking for. So with a $20,000 project at a 12-year term and an 8.25% interest rate, they'd be looking at a $224 a month payment. Maybe let's say, they're not too worried about the low payment. They just want to pay it off quicker and not be charged with as much interest. We could go ahead here and click on a 5-year plan. You're going to see how the price changes immediately. and you're just able to click through and quickly just give them a multitude of different options. One other thing to keep in mind is that in order to get the lowest rate, we do require the customer to make automatic ACH repayments where we pull it from their account directly every month. So you'll see here now that we selected that, the interest rate dropped from 8.25 down to 7.99. Their monthly payment went down a few bucks a month, and then it's also going to show them how much they're going to save over the life of the loan by doing those automatic payments. And then here I'm just going to point out as well with some of those promotional products that I mentioned. So here you can see for the first 12 months, they would not be required to make any payments. After that, they're looking at about $200 a month. And then the other thing that's really cool here is that we can actually toggle down, and let's say the customer wanted to know what if they paid off half of their loan in those first 12 months, what it would look like. Well, we can show them. We're going to actually re-amortize the loan. They're still not going to pay anything before the 12 months. You're going to see what their new monthly payment looks like afterwards, and as well as how much they're going to save on interest and the extra money that they've paid down. And again, another nice little tool here as well is this payment table. And this, if you click on it, it's going to load with the info and show them how much is due each month, what the balance is, what the interest accruement looks like, and all of that good stuff. So hopefully there's some nice tools in here that can help you guys, fight through any customer issues or questions in regards to payments and, what it would look like over the life of their loan. And just finally, the other things that I want to point out real quickly here is our Swift Link option. And so what this Swift Link is actually allows you to, again, it's another way to send an application off to a customer, or you would be able to embed this link directly in your website, and you could send customers there and have them apply that way, and they're going to show up here in your pipeline as I did. So let that load. There we go. So as you can see, system installed complete that we just did a few minutes ago, and anything else that's previously in here as well. So that is what I have for the demo portion here. And at this point, I think we would like to open it up to any questions that you guys have.
Thank you, Charlie. That definitely has some nice benefits to that app you just showed. So we do have a couple of questions. The first one is, can you finance installation work? And if yes, does it include other measures to qualify for a loan, or can you do just straight installation projects?
I'll answer that. Yeah, you can do installation projects with us, and there's no additional measures. The only thing is that it just can't be below $2,500 for a loan.
Okay. So we had another question here, I guess a couple of them. What is the maximum amount of the loan, and are loans secured or unsecured?
These are unsecured loans on the home improvement side. I had noticed there was a piece in here about solar. Solar is a different piece that we offer, and if that's an interest, we can get you connected in the right piece of that. So the max loan is $55,000. But as we mentioned, let's say you have a husband and wife that are both on title of the home and the project is more than $55,000. They each could apply for their own loan for the same project. So potentially, if they were both approved for the max amount, you'd be looking at $110,000 that you could finance.
Next question is, your products for residential only, or commercial customers available to take advantage of it?
Yeah, so when it comes to commercial customers, you probably noticed the piece about rentals. So this is going to be something where an actual person is applying. So we don't do commercial true B2B, but if you have a person or a husband and wife that own some rental properties, it can be used in that case, as well as a second home that maybe they rent out in the summers, but not for another business to apply for financing.
Okay, do we have any more questions coming in?
I do see one that says, for custom payments, can we do a percentage of the total? So yes, with those custom payment options that I went over, it actually allows you to break it up into as many as 10 stages. So you could have anywhere from 2 to 10 stages, depending on what you're looking for. I know a lot of customers that I work with have their draw schedule broken up into quarters, essentially. So, yep, anywhere from 2 to 10 different draws you could create, and you can do that on a per project basis. So you could set one up that way. You could set one up with multiple draws. You could set one up with no draws, one with a 50-50 split. It's going to be totally up to you for each individual customer and project. And there's no extra charge to any of that either. Once you guys are approved with us, all of those options are available for you to use.
I see the question in here about the eligible projects and measures. If it's a one-off of, you feel free to email me what what specific projects you guys do, and I can let you know if that falls within ours. But generally, we cover all kinds of things. We even do in-ground pools. So I mean, we've got we cover a lot of different things in regards to that. And then I see there about the unsecured loans are unsecured. There is no lien on this loan.
Okay, we had a question come in. Do you show the cash versus finance price on your contracts?
Yeah, so currently we don't have a calculator embedded for that piece, but I do have quite a few of my HVAC contractors that I'm working with currently that we are creating some customizable ones. So if that's something that you would like to use, we'd be happy to, kind of help facilitate and put that together for you. For the rental properties, I see that question. So it can still be owned by an LLC. It's just that individual that's applying needs to be one of those members as a part of that LLC.
Okay, any other questions? We're just about out of time, actually. So I don't see anything coming in.
Awesome. Oh.
Just wait a minute here.
I see the question, how are dealer point managed? Are you talking about fees in points, or how do you mean who's managing you? Fees. Yeah, so those are where it's customizable. We've got so many different types of loans that we can offer. We like on a 5-year, we've got things with a low APR as little as like 2.99 up to 12% APR. So that's where we will work with you all of which ones you need, and then we will work with you based on the dealer fees in that regard as well.
Okay, so we are out of time. So I do want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedules to hear from Mosaic. And I want to thank Katie and Charlie for the presentation. And if you have any questions or care to sign up, please contact Katie or Charlie. The information is right there on the screen. And it won't be too long before this presentation is on the websites. So we thank you, and everybody have a good day.
Thanks
Thanks so
everyone.
much for having us.